it was Granny's and Hung on You that drew me to the King's Road. Carnaby Street had just gone bad, big time.
I remember it as a dirt track. And there were 3 boutiques there, Vince, Donny and John Stephen. And then there was a nightclub called the Roaring Twenties. So you'd be weaving around and, you know, you'd see this other world going on, creeping in.
We'd quite often hang around in Carnaby Street, just sort of to look at the shops and look at people, meet people, which of course we did, being attractive young ladies, and so to be seen as well. And the atmosphere there was just incredible. When you actually went around looking at fashion, you know, being a girl, you looked at all the gorgeous guys that were around then. Because, you know, that was the moment in time where guys were fashionable.
Then all the tourists come from all over the world, and I didn't like it then because it was all kind of just, then people here that were going there for a novelty and a souvenir. So I decamped up sticks and went to King's Road, Chelsea. Kind of got fed up with hippies and psychedelia, and I wanted to do sort of pop art colours, and I thought, and I opened a shop called Mr. Freedom.
Looking at it now, I think the Chelsea girls were more middle class, so that attracted, I would say, the more intelligent guys. King's Road was definitely a bit more middle class.
I do remember Granny Takes a Trip very well, but it was merely window shopping because those prices were way out of my league. They were for the more sort of upmarket people.
You'd get French guys over, they were called minus, which is the French equivalent to mods. And their hairstyles were like a French dandy from the French Revolution times. There's a dandy called Les Incroyables, and it's where Rod Stewart, Ronnie Wood, Keith Richards, all those guys, so that haircut is from those dandies.
There was also an Ivy League kind of thing too. A shop on Austin's, called Austin's on Shaftesbury Avenue, which was importing button-down shirts, and that was also a big thing, and those narrow suits. So of course that was another influence in my tailoring, you know, something that I absorbed.
They opened a shop in Richmond called the Ivy Shop, and they bought in all this American stuff, and their ad in Town magazine was an American car with the back of the car open with all this Ivy League clothing falling out, and it said something like, yes, we're back from the States with a new bunch of stock, which was great, and it seemed really personal, you know.
Yeah, there was a club on Frith or Greek Street called Le Kilt, which was full of French students, and they kind of had that modernist, bouffant hairstyle, existential look.
It's not English, it's American. So you've got that American element come in, the hairstyles from France. Those French dandies have got a lot to answer for.
But it's not just collectors of original garments that dedicate extraordinary amounts of time and money to the fashion choices of the first smart youth movement. And when you can't find the original, then there's an opportunity to improve upon it.
Charlie, 1985. He's the one who used to continue the mod and continue. And after I come in 1985, I was taken over of him. And I continue the same thing because nobody else left to do the mod style. So everyone used to come in with a sketch on or drawing something or crazy designs and say, just I want to do this one. And we used to do them. I can't remember the name of the girl. She came in and asking to mix in between the mod style with the 70s styles. And we done the hipsters trousers. And she's asking for very big tunnel loops with the holes in the middle. So can cross the belt inside and can see 2 different colors on it. It was a very difficult style, that one, but it's something interesting as well because it's a job we never done. The lowest pair of sisters we done it was 3.5 inches, which was just holding on your body. You can't hold, only 3.5 inches is that much. On another things again, between them, they used to jealous. They used to come and say, anybody done this color? If I say somebody done this color again, they say, okay, call it off. I'm going to choose another color. They don't want each other to wear the same things. And this kind of jealousies there is between each other, the mod. The suit we start from 750, which is a price only for the mod. I learned it from Charlie, so now I'm training my son to pass over the things to him. So somebody is going to continue the trade, not to die. So
for men, it would have been just men, and that was in Tryon Street. Had a tailoring shop and a shirt shop, trouser shop next door. Obviously, Hung on You and Granny Takes a Trip, but somebody that made a lot of money at it was Dandy Fashions, John Crittall. I think he was backed by the Beatles.
I used to just sort of run up and down Oxford Street, and they used to have a lot of lovely little dress shops, and you could usually find something suitable in them. But I do remember in particular in Regent Street, Fifth Avenue.
How many of those bright ideas came from Tommy Roberts?
Mr. Freedom, they'd jet in from Hollywood to go to that one shop. London, Kings Road, boutiques, film stars had come just to do that. You know, opened a shop in Covent Garden, no one knew where it was, they couldn't find it. And they all come expecting like a Dolly Bird, bright coloured rock and roll environment, and I just played this very heavy kind of John Cage music and a very dull interior, and it was very morose, and I liked that atmosphere. But of course, it never worked commercially.
The girls' shops were Gear, and there was one with a big target on it. Of course, Bazaar, you know, Mary Quant. You had all the chain things like Chelsea Girl and stuff like that, selling dolly rockers, and which is quite funny that label's called dolly rockers, because they were getting both markets, getting the rocker girls and the dolly girl mod.
When Courage came online, I really loved their clothes. They were so refreshing, so different, so space age, with the helmets and the boots in particular, and geometric dresses.
I mean, things were just exploding all over the place, from that to Mao to the hippie sheepskin brigade, which I never particularly liked either. A shop called Hung on You at the same time as us, run by Michael Rainey, and he had wonderful taste, but then he became, I guess, politically motivated by Mao, and so there were all these military up here Mao jackets to be found with dragons on, very exotic, but from that he started reading Tolkien, and next thing they're all looking like Bilbo Baggins in there.
I think Michael Rainey can take the credit for the Regency thing, really, and the Nehru jackets, and the caftans, and the gangster suits, like during the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I can remember taking a delivery of ties to Michael Rainey, and he was in the basement, stoned out of his brains, playing the drums, and he just was handing out these smiles on a stick to everybody that came in the shop. He used to have a chaise longue in the window, and they would sit in the window with Afghan coats on and things like that, smoking joints. They were the window display, which was amazing. I mean, nobody around that area they just didn't know what was happening to the place.
And for those who want it all and want it now, there's always off-the-peg shopping. Arguably one of the most successful modern-day retailers of 60s-influenced fashion is Velvet Illusion, only 4 shops down from where Bieber sold their £3 dresses nearly 4 decades before.
First of all, Mary Quant, because she made it available to the public, to the youngsters. So design fashion was available for the very first time to the general public, and I think that's very, very important to say. Barbara Blanche from Bieber, which was a very, very, very unusual thing. Another very interesting phenomenon of this time, of course, was John Pierce from Great Taxi Trip from the King's Road. He was the first one who invented a multi-sexual boutique, the very first one. When we're talking about Quant again and Pierce in that context, we're talking about milestones. Really. The opinions about that one are very different, but I think Mary Quant inspired the French scene as well. So all the others like Courage and all those big names, they were definitely inspired by Mary Quant. It's a mix from all those people who created swinging London, and it's a puzzle. All those designers from the 1960s, all those outstanding creative people, and it's a puzzle actually. So, yes, I do see them definitely being as a work of art or pop art, and pop art includes modern or modernist clothing as well as psychedelic influences. It's definitely art, pop art.